If you like talking,
Women.
Ladies,
men,
topic,
Conversations.
and occasional uninformed politics,
multiple talking women is for you.
Hit it! Hey ho, everybody. Welcome back to Multiple Talking Women. I am the producer, Paula Gherkin.
And I'm one of your hosts, Felicity Bramble Bush.
And I'm the other one of your hosts, Lana Brown. And we are here today. We are very excited.
Yeah.
We have an incredible comedic, and also there's been some drama in there,
Sure.
actor.
Michael D. Cohen!
Woo!
Thanks for
Michael
having
D.
me.
Cohen.
Do you like that D in there?
What's the D stand for?
Well, it stands for Dylan, although Wikipedia seems to think it stands for Dwayne. Do I look like a Dwayne?
Not at all.
No.
No. I don't buy that.
Who writes Wikipedias?
To the people.
Just random
It
people?
belongs to the people.
It belongs to the people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you ever get confused with Michael Cohen?
I've got a good story about that.
Please.
Oh, I
Wanna
want to
hear
hear
it?
it.
Let's get rolling.
So 2018 rolls around. I'm scrolling down the IMDb newsfeed, which I rarely do, but I was on this particular day.
Okay.
And I see Michael Cohen pays Stormy Daniels $130,000, and there is my headshot.
Wow.
And that
No.
went on for 2 weeks. It was People, Deadline, whatever. And it was the goofiest headshot I had. It was like, my head on a slant,
Oh my
Just-
Oh my
goodness.
God.
I
And,
really enjoy that. I have ran into Michael Cohen on the streets 3 times.
What?
It's like we're on the same timeline.
Well,
or
of course
something.
you would be.
Of course I would be. Of course I would be.
Yeah, you're a fan of Michael Cohen.
Oh, I think he's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Okay.
And his middle initial's D2, unfortunately.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
Yeah, it is unfortunate.
Stormy Daniels, attractive woman.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, she has $130,000 in my money now, apparently. Too.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's
mhm.
right.
Mhm.
That's right.
But she's leveraged it into a little bit of a career. She's written a book.
Sure.
Sure.
Good for her.
Good for her.
Let's get her on.
Will you make that connection?
I'll
for
make that
us?
happen. No
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, you could call.
Thank
Absolutely.
Okay. First, I want to hear about what I always like to hear about. I want to hear about little Michael D. Cohen growing up in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
It was very Canadian.
Yeah.
Now, when you grow up in Canada, are you aware of the Canadian reputation?
Canadian reputation. Well,
Nice.
nice?
Yes.
No, we're not
No.
aware of it. We're just, it's like fish swimming in water. You
You're
don't know
just-
the water is
right.
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, okay. That makes sense.
But we are very aware of the U.S.
Okay.
So it's like growing up with a big brother who's super cool, and you just want to like hang on to their pant leg and just go where they go.
Really?
That's what it was like at that time. I don't know that it's like that now necessarily.
No, now we're all like, can we come over there?
Yeah,
Right.
now it's like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Can we get in?
now
Yeah.
we're cool.
Well, do you
Yeah.
think that's because of our great leaders and like Ronald Reagan?
It's very much about Reagan.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, you guessed it. You're
I
clearly
figured.
very politically savvy.
I figured.
She loves
Yeah.
Reagan.
She loves Reagan.
He's my guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Up until a certain point, I think Canadians really felt, akin to U.S. politics. I think things have changed. But no, it was really, I'm thinking of the entertainment
Right.
industry because I knew since I was a little kid, that's what I wanted to do.
How did you know that?
Watching the Carol Burnett show.
Really?
Mm.
You've
Yes.
heard that before.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, this was on a whole other level.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
A whole other level.
Like
How old do you remember watching? And
I remember
having a
as
feeling?
young as 4 years old watching it.
Wow.
And our family would just sort of gather around the TV set and watch the show. But yeah, it was an event.
Yeah.
And it was CBS Studios in Hollywood, right? That was the,
Right.
you remember that.
Mhm,
And I just knew I want to be at CBS Studios in Hollywood. And now I'm at CBS Studios in Studio City, but
Wow.
that's close.
It's,
Yeah.
It's basically the same. We've had so many guests on here though who idolize Canadian comedians like Catherine O'Hara and Martin Short.
Mhm.
These people that
Justin Bieber.
I just learned about. Yeah. So don't sell yourself short.
I never sell myself short. No.
Okay.
I sell
Okay,
myself
good.
tall.
There you go.
There you
Sell
go.
yourself tall.
I sell myself tall. I'm
What's
saying.
what's the difference briefly of living when you are here versus Winnipeg? Because I'm so enamored with Canada lately. I want to go to Vancouver. I want to go to Quebec. I want to go to Montreal. I want to go to Lake Louise. I have a
Lake Louise.
family in Saskatchewan.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Wow.
they escaped from Russia, Belarus,
Mm-hmm.
and they got
You have
there.
family from everywhere.
Well, I do have family from everywhere. Yeah,
Okay.
but what's the difference? Like, do you feel safer up there generally?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I mean, there's, but it's also it's a give and take. The things I always think that like the dark side of something always has a light side, and vice versa. So the light side of Canada is it's safe, right? It's safer. I mean, not completely safe, but it's safer in certain ways. It's wonderful. It's very community oriented. Very everybody takes care of each other, and I love that. And at the same time, if you want to really stand out, or you really want to move forward in something, and you're really ambitious, it's not always. I found when I lived there, and I think it might be different now. It wasn't as supportive of that as I would have liked. But I love Canada, and I grew up in Winnipeg and then Vancouver. But I also felt at times like I really wanted to be in the midst of the people that I admired the most, which were all here. You know,
Thank you.
They weren't in Canada.
Did you feel like
you three? For example.
Oh, well, thank you
Thank
for
you.
saying that.
Wait,
Thank you for
you want to
saying
be around us three?
Absolutely. Why not?
Because
me.
let me tell you, there's not a lot happening over here. I mean, these two are. What am I saying? Something?
Our
that's
star
not
is
true?
rising.
Where?
Well-
we're sitting here across from Michael D. Cohen.
Okay, but I made
doing
that
what-
happen. I made that happen.
Well, you're not doing it alone, are you?
No, I mean I invited you two to come, but I'm just saying
Invited?
these two are struggling to get famous. They're desperate, and so I would not, don't let. I feel like they're going to pull you down like an anchor. So just don't.
Well,
keep some.
We're
separation.
one step closer because Clean Deodorant Curie, aluminum free, is sponsoring us.
No, they're not.
Well, kind of.
Okay.
You're using it.
And these people are incredible. And I'm just going to do a quick demonstration on when you're from everywheres, you have a lot of smells.
Yeah.
Now, they're good smells. Back in the dinosaur days, you'd be having lots of pheromones and you'd be the hottest cave lady or caveman in town. But now, modern times, people don't like you to smell. So
Do
it's
Canadians
really good.
smell different?
Fresher.
That's a really great study that can be done.
Okay.
I will get on that.
I got to
Just
say one
test
other
it.
thing because
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a couple of these today to
Really?
take home. Yeah, these are great. These are little mini travel deodorants from Curie. And if anyone wants to order one, you go to the website and you put in our special code. We have a code. That's how we know we're coming up. MTW Curie.
Mm.
And if that's not right, then it's Curie MTW. I don't remember. It's one of them.
And what sort of discount do you get with that code?
10 or 15%.
And you get a full size. as
Listen,
well.
we're new at this. Never done this before. So, listen, do a little work. Try a couple codes. See what works.
Smell
But
better.
Either way, you get a couple
Wow,
of them.
thank
I'm gonna
you.
put 'em here.
Is this an armpit thing?
It's an armpit thing. And I'll tell you something. Best natural deodorant that's ever worked. It works.
Because you don't need that.
You do that.
I'm sorry,
and
what-
then you twist the
You
top.
can use it for everywhere. So.
What is that ingredient
Isn't that a
it
great
doesn't
that you
have?
put that in your gym
Aluminum.
bag, you throw it and you bring
You
it
know what's
to
great?
travel?
I do a lot of hiking, camping, mountaineering stuff.
Oh.
This is perfect for that.
Do you really?
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
And this
I
is
knew that.
great. This
I
is
knew
a
that.
small little thing. I can just. That's perfect.
Mountaineering. Wow.
So
He's,
when you arrive in Burbank, California.
in
and-
Burbank.
Well, is that where you went first after you left Canada?
Canada? Why did you assume he went straight
Well,
to
because
Burbank?
it was Burbank Studios. That's where Carol Burnett was.
Nope.
CBS
CBS Studios.
And it was the one near the
Jesus.
Grove.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Mhm.
Yeah. So
and
yeah.
I live close to there now. Yeah.
So at what age
Just by
did,
accident.
did you decide to move here, and what made you make the jump?
Well, I'd wanted to do it for a long time, but being Canadian, I didn't have the papers to come and work here. Right? It's like anywhere else. You need to get a visa or a green card or something.
Right.
So I had to build up credits, which I moved to Toronto, built up some credits, got an O1 visa, and then moved over here. But it was like I'd wanted to do it for a long, long time. And I think it was a relationship breakup. Actually, I'm like, oh, now I'm free. Okay, I'll go do that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
When you say credits, do you mean film and TV
Yeah.
credits?
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, not bank.
I
yeah.
took a gander at your IMDb, and holy crap, you worked so much.
Oh, Thank you.
I mean, like, people may go, well, I know you from Henry Danger, because that's the longest running thing you've done. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And so and then sometimes people don't realize, well, there's a billion things before that too that led up to that. And I knew it was going to be hefty, but I don't think I realized the extent of how much you worked. And a lot of that beginning work is in Canada. And what was your first job? Do you remember?
My very first job was on Pippi Longstockings doing a voiceover.
Wow.
Okay, so I don't know if
You're
you know.
a fan.
I'm a huge fan, and I don't know if you know Paula's backstory, but she was a bit of a Pippi Longstocking. She was abandoned at the age of 4 and lived on her own in a house.
No,
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
sad.
Nope. Not
Nope.
for me.
Nope.
No, I had a great time. I didn't mind. I'm very self-sufficient.
She rose to the occasion.
Pretty young to be on your own.
No, I knew how to make eggs and I knew how to get to school.
Wow.
And it
Impressive.
explains a lot.
Okay.
But before we get into, the acting credits, I noticed something about you having to do with the world of science and cellular biology.
Wow, you really do your research.
Sometimes.
I'm impressed.
I mean, I skim, and then that really caught my eyes because I was like, oh, this is something different.
Yeah, I transferred out of theater school
Oh.
after the first year, and I went into science.
What? How? Why? How?
I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't really know why. I know I was really fascinated with biology,
Mm-hmm.
and I do feel like now I teach acting, and I know that the body, right, that is really a huge part of acting. We store so much of our material in everything below the neck, right? And so I think I was just really interested in the mind-body connection.
That's fascinating.
And it's like a soap opera. Like if you really study cell biology, there's gates to the cells and there's other cells trying to get in and there's cells blocking them and then there's relationships and then things explode and die and then other things kill each other and then other things give birth to each. I mean, it's like a whole
You're breaking
universe.
this down in a way that I can really.
I wanna see a
You're making it
television show on.
accessible, and I
Yeah.
appreciate
Well,
that.
you two could use some help.
With what, biology?
No, but with acting. So maybe if there's
Sure.
maybe he could teach you as well how to act.
I wonder if also you were in theater school and you were learning how to sing maybe a number from Good Luck Charlie Brown and thinking, I'm not using my brain quite enough.
I did feel a little guilty getting the degree because I was enjoying it too much. I needed a little more torture. I mean, look, I'm Jewish. What do you do? I mean,
Right.
this just can't be too joyful.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I think there was a part of me that just didn't, and maybe it was the program. I don't know what it was, but I did feel like I'm in an academic environment. My parents were both teachers. I felt like I felt a pressure to get like an academic degree. And there's nothing wrong with a theater degree. It's fantastic.
Sure.
It's wonderful and important in a lot of situations. But I, at that age, felt, I guess, for whatever reason, that I needed to do what I did. So, and I'm glad I did because I got my acting training later.
And that it sounds like that informed your process.
It totally does. Absolutely. And getting a science degree is really amazing. It teaches you how to think completely differently.
I think it has something to do with the left and right brain too, where the acting is one side of your brain, and then sometimes you feel the need to activate the other side, which is more critical thinking and things like that, right? I mean, at least that's what I've heard. I don't know. I'm not an actor.
That's a good
I could be an
analysis.
actor, but I'm not one.
You just don't want to.
Although this is a true story, how I was able to bring Michael D. Cohen onto our podcast is I was his stunt double.
What stunts did you perform?
Jumps.
Oh.
Jumps off things.
Oh.
You had to jump through that hoop of fire.
Hoop of fire. I had to jump through hoop of fire. I had to.
I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
No, you're too valuable.
That's
What are
right.
you-
Throw this one through it.
You were wearing a flame retardant?
Sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
s-
And
s-
anything that involved like, a hard somersault,
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Well, we know you're very fast.
I'm fast and I'm good at rolling.
Yeah.
So if he needed a kind of roll, so anything like that.
To
then
roll fast.
Yes.
He snaps and I run.
There was a lot of rolling on that set.
Yeah.
And what
On
set
a
was
roll.
that?
Well, both Henry Danger and then Danger Force. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but I mean, I saved his life once on set as well,
Oh, no.
which is
Thank God you were there.
how I said, you owe me one. And then this is,
The podcast.
Yep.
I mean, if this is all I can do to pay you back, that's pretty.
that's right.
That's easy.
That's right.
I'm not sure I believe her. So how did she save your life exactly?
There was a cart
Mhm.
you know, a runaway cart, a craft services cart that the wheels weren't locked.
There's a
And
lot of heavy food on it.
a lot
too.
of heavy food, and he was facing away from it. Very, you know, he on set. This guy, he's on it. He's going over his lines. He's you know, not messing around. You don't need to do more than one take with this guy. But what the problem is with that, focused. You don't. He didn't hear a rolling cart coming
No,
from behind him.
no.
So I ran in, swept him up, and pulled him out of the
You
way.
literally
You didn't stop the
lifted me.
cart. You lifted.
Yeah.
I took him out.
The
of
cart
way.
crashed into the set.
That's
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And people did say, "Why didn't you just stop the cart?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I went for.
It was easier.
It was easier, and
Softer.
also, I
Softer.
went for the jewel
For the goods.
for the goods.
Went for the
That's right.
goods.
That's right.
Wow. I'm sorry that happened because it sounds terrifying, but also grateful.
Well, I didn't see the cart coming. I just felt the being swept up.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
great. So you don't
right.
hold
So
on
it
to
was
that
never-
trauma.
No, the
No
trauma was,
trauma.
I did some EMDR. I'm good.
That's
Perfect.
great.
On the other side of it.
So you move out here, and you are struggling. Are you kind of a struggling actor at first, or are you like, well, pretty much rocking and rolling, doing some work and making a living?
It took a while to make a living.
Yeah.
And also, my Canadian credits meant nothing here, apparently.
Really?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that would be the case?
Well, people had warned me.
Yeah.
They said, unless you've got Cronenberg and Sarah Polly on your, your resume, don't anticipate. You're gonna have to start your career over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
And what age was this, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know.
Like 20s,
20
30s? In your 20s.
It was later, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it was later.
Okay.
Because I moved here in mid 2000s. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But I also noticed that in order to really compete, I had to up my game. I thought I was ready for the U.S. market, and I realized that I had to up the stakes in my choices. That I was playing it a little too safe. And at that time in the Canadian market, that was what they wanted. They wanted a little bit more flatness in the delivery.
Bland.
A little more
Normal.
bland. Yeah, at that time. I don't know. I think it's changed. And so when I got here, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to be much more stimulating. I have to be more connected. I have to be more all these demands. And so, I just kept going to different acting classes and auditioning, and I, would get one-liners, and then I would get guest stars, and then I might get a recurring, and then it built up from there.
Wow. And you did you have to have a side hustle during this time?
I did.
You did? What did you do?
Absolutely, yeah. I was a executive interviewer for a financial consulting firm.
Not a bad side hustle.
It was cool.
Yeah. Wait, so you're interviewing and choosing like who's gonna get the job? How does that
No,
work?
I'm just doing it's like glorified market research in a way.
Mm.
And I'm talking to, CFOs and treasurers and pension managers and stuff about different things to do with their company's finances and writing up reports and,
How did you have this kind of knowledge? Mathematical monies.
Well, because I knew how to interview. I had been I started working behind the scenes when I first started. And I was working as an associate producer and things like that on news magazine shows in Vancouver. And so I had interviewing skills. And so I saw this ad for an executive interview. I'm like, I can interview.
Wow.
So-
We have interviewing skills. Maybe we can get a job as an executive interviewer.
Is that what you want to do now?
Well, anything for some monies, because this doesn't pay.
Hey, if this
That's
this
true.
is interesting. So you have these skills. How are we doing as interviewers?
Oh, excellent.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Anything we could give us something to improve on? Do we have anything we could improve on
Well,
to
you
be
could
better
be
interviewers?
a little nicer to each other.
That's probably mostly on you.
Might be.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough love.
Well, yeah, you keep them in line.
I'm trying.
I think it all comes from a place of love.
I want them to succeed.
Yes.
I'll be
She
honest.
cares about you.
I care.
I don't know. So speaking of succeeding, when was it that you could stop the executive interviewing because you were making enough cash from the acting?
I was very slow to let go of it. Like I was like, I don't believe this
Why?
is gonna. I'm, very,
Prudent.
yeah. But I think it was like somewhere in the middle of Henry Danger. I was like, okay, I think I don't really have the time to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Right. You're working all the time.
But I did for a while, was full time on Henry Danger, and I was still doing this.
Wow.
I would get to my dressing room with my, wake up early in the morning and do these interviews.
Wow.
We've heard lots of fun stories of people who left their or waited to leave, and some people who left and had to go
and then
back.
had to go back.
So
Yeah.
we heard from Office, Kate Flannery and Oscar Nunez, I think,
And
were saying
Julia Sweeney.
those
too.
those two didn't leave till almost season 3 of The Office. They were so nervous is this a real thing? Are
Yep.
we good? But Julia Sweeney had to leave her job and went back.
I heard the interview.
Yeah.
That was
That's right.
fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave her a mug saying,
Yes.
Julia will be a star, you're a star, and she to come back to her.
And she had
But
the
she
mug.
also used her math brain on the side. And I'm so inspired by you having these other jobs, using your brain and using your outside experiences to support your work.
your creative work.
And because I feel like, and I think that we should do this, because
But you think that's more of a man's thing.
of course I do. Of course I do. But I also think, if all you know is maybe acting, then maybe, all your thought process is mostly like, pour it on, pour it in, paper towels,
No, I don't.
I don't
Not
understand.
really clear
because
on
these are the things that actors have to say.
Sure. Okay. They do other things than just sell products, but yeah, that is if they do commercials. They're
Right?
Maybe talking about
Right?
paper
Oh,
towels.
Mom, you never loved me.
Okay.
These kinds
That's
of
more
things.
of a soap opera kind of a thing you're doing.
Right. These
Okay.
are things that
Well,
actors do.
If you had a side hustle, what would it be?
I would probably be making cookies for church, which is something I do already.
And mine, people joke all the time saying, I'm going to do OnlyFans, I'm going to do OnlyFans. That really would be mine. And why not? There's no shame there because I have some creative ideas. So
What
keep
would be
waiting.
your OnlyFans creative idea?
Um,
Or do you not want to
I
say
don't
because
wanna
someone
share
might
it.
steal it?
Yeah.
Someone might steal, yeah.
yeah, you can sign on
Okay.
and pay. So, okay, so this is interesting. You're still working in the financial world, but you're on this show that's very successful and that there's very many episodes of, which is rare. And seasons.
How fast does that show get successful? I mean, how fast is it a hit?
I think it took a couple years, because we shot the whole first season before it went on the air.
Oh, wow.
Pretty much. I mean, they aired the pilot, I believe, but then it took a while for the first season. And I knew the first season as I was watching the kids. I'm like, this is going to be big. This is because I could see the chemistry with them. It was like lightning in a bottle. I'm like,
Wow.
this is good stuff, and the writing was good.
No,
So-
I'm trying to work with my children to make them famous. And what is it about the kids you work with what's the stuff? Did they naturally have it, or was it taught to them?
I think it was natural.
And I think you have a naturally playful energy that I think worked really well with the children's, but also your character comes for a while from an indiscriminate place.
Yeah.
And I can relate to that because I'm from everywheres.
Well, I know. I was listening to your podcast before I came because I knew I was going to come on, and I was trying to identify your accent. I was like, this has an element of schwoz in it. I can feel that.
Can we hear a
Yes.
little? Do people ask you that all the time?
Yeah, they do. And I say, sure, you do schwoz first and then I'll do it. But I'll do it for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll
So
do it.
You'll do it?
I mean,
Okay, go
I
for
need
it.
to be reminded of what it sounds like a little bit.
Okay. Well, your name is Lana, right?
Yes.
I think we may be from neighboring countries.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I felt a direct affinity to you when I heard you talk.
I feel like I'm with a cousin right now.
I know. We should do a dance or something.
So much warmth.
I know.
Let's do a chair dance.
Okay, chair dance.
Oh, I love it. But there actually became a name to your country.
Schwabalonia.
Yeah, and I'm part Schwabalonians. For sure.
For sure.
I know it.
Yeah. I love it.
Was that
Yeah.
character written like this, or did you come up with it yourself?
I don't even know if that was the accent. It's been so long since I've done it that I'm like, is that
And were
it?
you
It
someone
sounded
who like
pretty dead
did
on.
voices and accents?
I
Because-
did.
Okay.
I did. Yeah. Well, when I first had the audition, I came in to audition for a different character.
Oh.
And I knew they weren't going to cast me because I had seen the pilot, and the guy who played the villain in that pilot was about my height, right? Ben Giroux. And I always see him at auditions and stuff. And so, and they're not going to cast like every villain is going to be 5'5" and under. Like I know that they're going to be more creative than that. And so I came and auditioned for this, knowing, okay, well, I'll just do the audition. And then I get a call back saying, like, yeah, we like you for that part. We're going to submit it to producers, but there's this other part that we couldn't find anybody for. We actually wrote off of the show, and they'd already produced or they had shot about 4 or 5 episodes at that point. I'm going to audition for this one. And they're like, could you come in and audition for it? And I'm like, okay. And they said, come in Monday. I'm like, oh God, I'm supposed to go on a camping trip. Can I, should I cancel? And they're like, oh no, you're the only one we're seeing. Come on Tuesday. It's fine. I'm like, I'm the only one you're seeing.
Wow.
Right? My manager tells me this.
I bet that camping trip you were thinking a lot about.
Well,
this.
I was
Right.
camping with a good friend who's actually a Cirque du Soleil guy named John Gilkey.
Oh.
And so we were running lines, me and John's hilarious. So we're running lines in the forest, in the Angeles forest,
Wow.
right?
Oh.
That's
Camping.
cool.
Perfect.
Magical.
And I come in on Tuesday, I do the audition, and the audition called for a guy that was like an alien. The character was written as an alien, not an alien as in an immigrant,
No.
an alien as in like from outer space,
Outer space.
Yes.
and had this weird laugh and had an accent. They didn't say what kind of accent. So I just kind of did this sort of oddly Eastern European adjacent accent, puffed out my hair really like big because I had long hair at the time. I just made it really big. And I did what it said, and I thought it was the worst audition. They were like, no, it's good. And they submitted it to the producers, and the producers was like, yeah, that's the character.
Oh.
And they told me they were auditioning kids, adults. They went on for months trying to find people, and they couldn't find it. I'm like, suddenly I walk in, and apparently that's what they
That
were
was what they
thinking of,
wanted.
and
It was
I
meant to be.
it was meant to be.
That's a
But
dream.
it
Wow.
was- yeah.
It's funny to me that they said, "Oh yeah, this is what we're looking for." I don't think they knew what they were looking for. I think
You brought it.
you came in and you were it, and they were like, "Oh yeah."
Thank you. I guess so.
Yeah, that's how it
was.
happened.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm grateful to the casting directors, with Krisha Bullock and Jamie Snow. They were like,
Oh yeah.
they're the ones that had the ingenuity to think of that connection. And I'm like, yeah, thank you.
Now, do you is comedy your thing? Is that what you love doing comedy, or is it whatever?
I
all
love
acting?
doing comedy. I feel like it's definitely my thing, and I do drama, and I like doing drama. But there's something about comedy that I feel it in my bones in a certain way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And also recently you and maybe you had you done any directing before? You just directed something. You directed a short, correct?
Yeah, and I got to direct on Danger Force. I directed 5 episodes on
That's
Danger
right.
Force.
That's
Wow,
right.
cool.
So you had a little directing experience, but this was your own thing. You directed a short that you wrote as well?
Yeah.
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 How was that experience?
It was great.
Yeah.
We shot it up in the mountains, and Erin Hayes, you know Erin Hayes? She was on Children's Hospital. She's done a lot of, you recognize her.
Yeah.
And Sophie Gianamore came and played the kid. It was about a trans kid and her mom going winter camping after being challenged by their politically incorrect uncle. I get to play the politically incorrect uncle.
Oh.
It's very hard to be in something and direct yourself.
I would imagine.
I just finished editing it and just starting to submit it to film festivals. It was great. It was a really
congratulations.
good experience.
And I feel bad because you did ask me to come be a stunt double on that.
I did.
wasn't available.
You weren't available because something about the Emmys or something.
Yeah.
You were doubling in the Emmys or something.
Yeah, I was a seat filler.
She was a seat
Seat
filler.
filler.
Let's
Oh.
not
Yeah,
get too fancy.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
So
be real.
you're on when you're on something like Danger Force. How do you get to direct 5 episodes? Who do you say, "Hey, I'd like to direct some episodes"?
Well, I planted the seed
Right.
on Henry Danger.
Okay.
And I talked to the executive there. And I'm like, hey, listen, I really want to do this. And I feel like directing feels very natural to me. It feels right. Like it feels like everything. It's like Kabbalah. Just do it after you're 40. You know, and then it's like you have to have a certain life experience or whatever it was. But I felt like, okay, now I'm ready. And so I put the seed in. Planted the seed a few years earlier, and just kept coming back and asking. And it was a nudnik, as they say.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
So you never ran into being typecast or put in this alien box where you can only play alien characters.
There's not that many alien
I
roles.
suppose that's true.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but no, I haven't run into that.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, thank you.
And so now when you go out to audition, I mean, people must still go like, he's great for kids shows a little bit. They must have that in their brain. Or do you feel like you get to audition for everything? All different things.
Well, I seem to get to audition for everything.
That's great.
Which I like. But as you know, with self-tapes now, it's so much harder. It's just, I'm getting called in for all sorts of things, drama, comedy.
You think it's harder because people they're not even watching it, or you just have more things being submitted and it makes it harder? What makes self-tapes harder?
Oh, I think that there's way more people that they get to choose from, and you don't get redirects in the room like you used to.
Right.
And that was great, because if you're off in your interpretation in some way, or you misunderstood some information, they can correct you, and then you get a personal. There's nothing like a personal relationship.
Right.
Like I'm so glad we're in a room together. It's so nice.
Yeah. No, we get people that ask all the time, I want to be in your podcast, but I am in Seattle. And we say, no, thanks. Too bad. Get here or forget it. That's it. My way or the highway is what I say.
So tell us about your connection to nature.
Yeah. Let's hear a bit about
that. Well, thank you for asking.
Welcome.
You have a funny expression on your face, so I'm smiling.
I'm smiling too.
Yeah, we're smiling at each other.
We sure are.
Smiling. Isn't that nice?
I don't know what it is, but I just love being in nature. Is like it's my synagogue, my church, my temple, my mosque, my whatever. It's just a place where I feel like it doesn't matter who you are. You're in nature. Everybody's just on the same playing field, and you have to survive.
Is it always camping, or is it sometimes a cabin, or what's your favorite way of getting into nature?
I love camping.
Okay.
I love being out. I just love the idea of carrying everything you need on your back and walking out into the middle of a forest, away from people, and just setting up and
fend for yourself.
Fending for yourself, having what you need. It's just.
And how often do you in the city and you start to feel like I gotta get out of here, and then you just.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't get out as much as I'd like to because I don't like doing it alone. So finding people
probably safer that way.
Yeah. So finding people who maybe you three would like to.
I would love to because as I've aged, nature to me is the only thing that's real.
Well, then let's go backpacking. Sometime.
Yeah. I need it.
Or front packing.
To get sure. I'm already packing in the front.
Yes.
What I need is. Jesus. What I need is someone to, because I camp in my own backyard.
Okay.
When I need to get outside, you know that.
I do know that.
But I'm not well set up for a backpack excursion into nature. I would love your help putting together the pack, the things that go inside of it, what kind of tent, all that stuff.
I love doing that.
You love helping people get that
helping
together.
That.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Get outfitted.
Yeah, outfit me.
I love outfitting people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, great.
Would you go?
I will hold down the fort.
Okay.
I will wait for you. I will keep the light on.
She really likes the indoors.
I do.
Okay.
Yes. I garden. Come on.
No,
I
you do
garden.
garden.
You might like glamping.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, she wants sheets and a nice cozy bed.
Glamping
I
has
do.
sheets.
I do. And a flushing toity. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
We're at that time.
Shocking.
Any
And I don't even
pressing-
feel like we've got into the juice.
Listen, guess what? If they want juice, they're gonna have to listen after to our Patreon because we're gonna talk a little bit more off this podcast directly to Michael Cohen, and we're gonna get some juice.
And we're going to juice it, everybody.
And then we're gonna juice it. Before we end, we always like to ask, if you have advice for a young actor or young person coming out here to live their, maybe they watched Carol Burnett, maybe they want to live their dream. What would you say?
Well, I think dreams are really important.
Yeah.
And I think that dreams usually follow talent. We don't tend to dream about doing something if we don't have the talent, generally speaking. So I'd say that's really important. And then find ways to support yourself. Like we talked about a side hustle. Find a side hustle that you can do on your own and be self-employed doing. So you can go off and do auditions and book jobs, like if you like carpentry or if you like bookkeeping or if you have something that you really do enjoy doing.
Showing your body.
Having an OnlyFans page like you. Yeah. Doing something like that. I wouldn't personally tell a young person to do that because I don't think it would be my
Oh, right.
place.
A young person wouldn't want to do that one.
Yeah.
We want to keep it.
But having something like that, a side hustle that you can develop, create a business, have income so that you never have to worry about making money as an actor.
I love
That's
this
huge.
positive spin on the side hustle because I think sometimes it can be looked at as like, oh, and I have to have this side job
I'm a
because I
loser.
haven't quite made it yet. So yeah, I'm a loser. But no, but you're saying have this thing and let it support you so you can live a creative life.
Yeah, have it nurture you. Have it be that thing that's there for you so that acting doesn't have so much pressure on it.
People in the
that's
arts
great.
used to have patrons. If you're an artist, you used to have people to pay for you. It's true. So that's where Patreon comes in.
Is that more Eastern European?
Yes, but also East Coast. Like, the Vanderbilts would have some opera singer come over and they'd give them dinner and pay them. And that's how they got to do their opera singing.
some rich family to bring them over.
Yeah.
And say, we're going to host you.
Yeah,
Mm.
bring them
Do
on the
this.
boat.
Get over on the boat. Yeah,
I love
sure.
it.
I like that model.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
enjoy that as well.
Let's please give a hand to Michael
D. Cohen.
Cohen, Michael D.
It was an
Michael D.
honor. Thank you. I think that what self-taping has brought in is more variables.
Mm.
Whereas we had enough variables to deal with when we were
Sure.
in person. Now
Yeah,
there's
now we have
more
more.
variables. We have less control. Not that we had any control before, but we
Right.
at least had personal relationships.
Multiple Talking Women is produced and hosted by Ariane Price, Lauren Burns, and Lisa Shurga. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on all podcast platforms, and become a member of our Patreon. All right, am I done?